Did you know you can die actually owing more than you're actually worth? Even though you're flat broke on paper and the government will still hand you a family bill for $500 million. His own estate valued his name and likeness at $2,105. They started at $434 million. And they fought about that gap in tax court for 12 years.
One of the biggest things, especially with Michael's estate value, one of the things looming around in 9 months from now is a huge estate tax bill. In other words, the government still is going to tax Michael one last time for forever.
I thought that death tax was gone now.
Next year it is. Next year, but it's coming back. So.
See, that was me 16 years ago, a younger man in a worse suit on the news, calling the exact same thing that was about to happen. So drop the word partner if you never thought of the government as a partner in your money, because I promise you, they think that way of you. How? Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Who are we? Hey, 7-figure squad. What we go? Run it up, run it up.
Welcome to the 7-Figure Squad, 375,000, growing and strong. 26 years myself has been in financial services, and I'm a guy who just went from broke to bankrupt at 22 years old to financially free in his 40s. No college degree, no inheritance, no rich family, no rich friends. Now, I've been in rooms where families opened a letter from the IRS, sadly, after somebody dies. I've watched them do the math way too late. Michael Jackson died in 2009, 50 years old. And he was almost nobody understood at that time, though. He wasn't sitting on a mountain of cash. He was actually buried in debt, hundreds of millions in the red. He owed more money than he was actually worth. And then the IRS still came. Not for the cash he didn't have, but for what they decided his name was actually worth. Here's why. Because this matters. The taxes what you're worth the day you die, not what you became later. Now, Michael Jackson sadly died broke, in debt, no tour in years, his name dragged through the mud. So his lawyers said on that day, nobody would have paid real money for his name, value it at almost nothing. So the IRS looked at the same name and said, that's Michael Jackson. That's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Same name, same day, and the two sides were hundreds of millions of dollars apart. All in, the government asserted a bill north of $700 million, taxes and penalties. Now, check this out because this matters. The family mostly won. A judge eventually valued that name and likeness at about $4 million, way above the state's number, way below what the IRS wanted, but sit with what winning cost. 12 years, armies of lawyers, a family that couldn't move on, because when you don't set the value ahead of time, guess who sets it? The government sets it for you, and then your family pays to argue it back down. And Michael Jackson wasn't even broke the way you think. Back in the 80s, he bought a music catalog for around $47 million. The asset was always there. He still almost lost it all because being asset rich and cash poor is how fortunes die. That paper fortune is exactly why the tax bill was so big. And having no cash on hand is exactly why he nearly buried his family. Now, you have the same partner Michael Jackson had, even if you never sell a single record. So that's what this episode is about. The one partner you never agreed to take on. The one who taxes you while you're still alive and taxes you again on the way out. Taxes. The silent partner. So let me tell you what most people believe. They think their 401ks, their IRA, their retirement account is theirs. Now, it's not. Not all of it. Every dollar you put into a traditional retirement account, a qualified plan, you got a tax break for. The government let you skip the tax today, but they didn't let you cancel the tax. They just deferred it. They wrote themselves into your account as a partner, and they get to collect their share on the way out when you move that money out of your retirement accounts for your own income sake. Tax-deferred is not the same as tax-free. Let me say that again. Tax-deferred is not the same as tax-free. Now, you've been bragging about the balance in your 401k account that isn't all yours. Part of it belongs to a partner who never put in a dollar, never took a risk, and gets to decide their percentage later. And God said something about this over 2,000 years ago. Jesus himself got asked the tax question. Should we pay taxes to Caesar or not? In Matthew 22, verse 21, he says, give back to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. Caesar gets a cut. Jesus didn't argue that at all. There is a partner and the partner is real. Scripture is honest about that. Paul says it plain in Romans chapter 13, verse 7, saying, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, then pay taxes. So this is about dodging the partner. Dodging is what got people like Willie Nelson raided and Wesley Snipes locked up. This is about stewardship, knowing the partner is there and planning for him instead of getting ambushed by him. Go back to Joseph in Genesis chapter 41. 7 years of plenty coming, 7 years of famine right behind it. So what did Joseph do though? He stored up during the good years so the lean years coming ahead wouldn't destroy them. Now check this out. Joseph set aside a fifth, 20% for Pharaoh. The government's cut is ancient. Joseph didn't pretend it away. He planned around it. See, that's stewardship. That's a man who read the seasons and got ahead of the bill. So drop the word Caesar if nobody ever taught you that your retirement account has a partner in it. Now let me show you what this partner actually costs in real numbers. Say you did everything right. You built a $1 million account in a traditional IRA. You feel like you made it. There it is. You see $1 million on the screen. But watch what happens when you actually go use it. Every dollar you pull out now is taxed as ordinary income. Depending on your tax bracket and your state, the partner takes a quarter, a third, sometimes more, so that $1 million you were counting on to last you 30 years, well, a big slice of it was never yours. It was a partner share, and you just found out his percentage at the worst possible time. And here's the thing with this partner. You don't set the rate. They do. And they can change it. Michael Jackson's family didn't get to set what his name was worth. They had to fight the government in court for 12 years over that number. You will not get to decide your future tax bracket. Congress will. You're planning your retirement around a number somebody else gets to move after you're already committed. Now, the lie you've been told your whole life is this. They tell you not to worry about it because you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. That's the single most dangerous myth in retirement planning. Think it through it with me. Tax rates today are near the lowest they've been in generations, and the national debt is exploding past record highs. Which direction do you think tax rates will go from here? And by the time you retire, your kids are grown, your house is paid off, your write-offs are gone, you're probably not in business any longer, so more of every single dollar that you have in these qualified retirement accounts is exposed with fewer places to hide it. But it gets worse, and people are finding this out right now. You won't just be taxed at a higher rate. You'll need to pull out more money. Remember what we talked about a few weeks ago? That healthcare and long-term care? If you missed that one, watch this episode right here. That $6,000 and $8,000 a month, it does not ask permission to take care of you, because you got to take care of you. You got to take care of your spouse, or someone's got to take care of you, but that ain't free. So where does that money come from? Your retirement accounts. So the moment your health needs it the most, you're forced to withdraw money from that account the most. And every dollar you pull comes out as taxable income. You got more healthcare need, you got bigger withdrawal. The more money you need for healthcare, bigger withdrawal. It also comes with a bigger tax bill, and that bigger number can shove you into a higher tax bracket and even spike what you pay for Medicare. So read my lips. Lower tax bracket, most people are going to pay more in retirement, not less, on more money they were forced to take out. Now, at a higher rate, with the deductions that they normally had when they were growing and are living and raising their family, they were stripped away. That's not a plan. That's a trap with your name on it, and it springs exactly when you're too old and too sick to fight it. Drop the word rate in the comment section below. If nobody ever told you that you'll be in a lower tax bracket, might be the most expensive lie you've ever believed. So here are the 3 truths of the silent partner. Hint, hint, that's the IRS. Here are all 3. Truth number 1. Tax deferred is not tax free. You have a partner in your account, and Scripture never pretended otherwise. Caesar gets a cut. Truth number 2, you don't get to set the rate. They do, and they do it later. You're building on a number that isn't finished moving. You've got no control over it. Truth number 3, the goal is not to defer the tax forever. The goal is to control it, potentially to legally eliminate it, to decide on purpose when and how that partner gets paid instead of letting them ambush your family on the worst day of their lives. Now, here's what it takes to actually control the partner instead of feeding him. There are legal, God-honoring ways to move money out from under rate you don't control and into places where the partner share is settled on your terms, where it grows without the partner's hand in your money, where it passes to your family without the partner taking one last bite. Now, I watch people in an agency do exactly this and then turn around and do it for everybody else. Start with Maurice and Tori Hansberry in our Chicago office in Oak Brook. I call them my OGs. Maurice grew up on the south side of Chicago, played college ball in Florida. Now, when I met him, He had a job at an enterprise that experienced that, making 6 figures. And then when I recently met him, working together with him, he was handling bags at the tarmac at Southwest Airlines at Chicago Midway Airport at the same time. Now, a hard worker on 2 fronts and still hunting for something with no ceiling. Tori served his country in 2 branches, the Army and the Air Force. They both came from grind and duty, not privilege. Michaela Barrett, we call her MK, came from politics. Pre-law, worked inside Illinois government, worked as a grassroots organizer, fighting for the underdog, until she realized you don't change a family's future by marching. You change it at their kitchen table. And Rachel Williams spent 17 years as an Army ER nurse. Started at the very bottom, the lowest rank there is, and climbed all the way to captain. Got her commission, which is a career keeping strangers alive on their worst day. Now, here's what all of them have in common. They didn't just win for themselves and cash out. Every one of them now today runs their own agency inside the Money Smart movement today. They sit at kitchen tables and boardrooms all across America, standing in the gap for families and business owners who have nobody. They became the answer to the very verse this whole series is built on, that God looked for someone to stand in the gap. They raised their hand. Now, I'm not going to tell you the exact structure, how to do this from a YouTube video. It's different for every family, and it changes with the tax code. That's a table conversation, belly button to belly button. But run your own accounts through one honest question. It isn't that tax rates go up, though they do. It's that the government keeps inventing brand new ways to reach in and get your money. New taxes, new fees, surcharges they don't even call taxes, quietly eating away at our money every year. In your whole life, have you ever watched them run out of new ways to take a cut? So ask yourself, over the next 30 years, does the pile of money you can't touch without their permission get safer, or does it become a bigger and bigger target for them? If you don't like the answer, you already know what to do. Here's how this connects to everything we do on this channel. Michael Jackson had the best people money can buy standing in his gap. John Branca, one of the sharpest estate lawyers alive, a team of attorneys behind him, and a decade and a fortune to fight with. Every advantage a human being could have, and it still took him 12 years to fight the IRS and Uncle Sam in a war to protect what Michael Jackson built. Now look at your own family. When that letter comes, who's standing in your gap? Who fights the valuation? Who knows where the money is, what it owes, and how to keep the partner from taking the house? For most families, the honest answer is nobody. No John Branca in their corner. No team, no plan. Just a husband or a wife at a kitchen table with a stack of paper and a bill that they never saw coming. See, that's the gap. It's the distance between a family that has somebody standing in it and a family that's standing there completely alone. And there's a whole reason I built this agency, to be that somebody for the people who can't hire one. So drop the word gap if your family has no one standing in your financial gap right now. And if this is the first time you stood in the gap with us, there's a whole series behind this one. Let's catch up with me. Episode 1, the money mistake costing families $246 billion a year. Episode 2, why your paycheck itself is the trap. Episode number 3, the coverage you can't buy once you already need it. Episode 4, the benefit most families never know they can collect while they're still alive. Episode 5, what happens when your parents get old and nobody planned for it. In episode 6, the silent tax quietly shrinking every dollar you save and invested. And tonight, episode 7, the silent partner hiding inside your retirement. 7 episodes, we have one great message. Watch them in order. It's one wall, built one stone at a time. And next time, we finish it. The finale of Standing in the Gap, and it's the biggest episode yet. Here's the door. If you just realized you've got a silent partner in your accounts and you want to take back control before the rate moves, or if you want to be the one who warns families before that letter shows up, there's a place for that. Go to our website at moneysmartmovement.com. That's the door. Walk through it. That's where we take people who are done letting the partner set the terms. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 30 says this, I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, but I found no one. See, God's still looking. Stand in the gap before the partner, the IRS, the government collects one more time. If you got value from this episode, please hit like. If you haven't done so yet, please hit subscribe and hit notifications to be alerted the next time we upload our next episode. Because next week, I'm breaking down what Michael Jackson actually owned, the catalog he bought for $47 million, the Beatles, the $2 billion his family sold his music rights for in pieces, and how they almost lost every dime of it. You don't want to miss it in episode 8 Drop your biggest takeaways in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching and tuning in. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. See you next week.